Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to show you how to set up a Google Classroom. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to classroom.google.com. Obviously, you could also get there by using your apps. Now, once you're in Classroom, in order to create a new one, you want to go up here to the plus, click the plus, click Create Class. That'll then bring up a few things. What do you want to call this class? So you might call it your Year 11 PDHPE class. Section, whatever you want to put in there. These are all optional things. Your subject, what room you're in. So if you're always in the same room or something, you can put those in there. And then click Create. So this is how Classroom is going to appear when you first create it. So you might want to think about changing your theme. So click here and select the theme. You can choose any of these pictures. You might choose patterns to go in your background, or you can upload your own image if you like. But let's just, for our sake, choose a lovely image of some guts and intestines. And there we have U11 PDH with guts and intestines. So over here, next to where I click select theme, you can also see the about. So if I click about, it will give you your class code, and this little button here will display that code larger. If you want to add your students to your classroom by using the code, you just have your students go to classroom.google.com, and then they enter this code into where they click the plus, they click join class, and then they enter this code, and they will then join your class, and they'll come up in your students list. So that's the about section, and then here is where you upload a photo for your theme here in the background. Along the top, this is your class. If you click on here, you'll see all of your other classes that you have. You'll also see your class calendar, or you can go to your classes home. There's also, if you're a teacher, there's a to-do list, which will have all the lists of assignments that have been submitted to you that you have not yet marked and graded or provided feedback or something with. So other than that, if we scroll across the top, let's go over to the right here. This is just your G Suite training. So if you ever get stuck, you can click on that and it will answer your questions. This is who you are. This is your notifications. This is all your other apps. And then here are your settings. So this is your class settings. So do I want to show deleted items so that I can see anything that I've deleted? I can turn that on. And Guardian summaries. So if you want to send summaries of students' progress, what they've done, what they haven't done, what's coming up that's due to parents, then you can click this and it will turn your Guardian summaries on. Okay, so I might, for example, click that. Beautiful, add all the classes you teach to Guardian email summaries. Yes or no thanks, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to turn that. The other things you'll see along the top here are stream, classwork, and people. So stream is where you are going to have a conversation with your class. It's kind of like it's like a Facebook chat, or it's just a little forum for your classroom. So you can click here and you can say whatever you like to your students. You can choose if you want to say it to all your students, or if you have students in your class, you'll have a list here and you can tick that and just tick which students you want this announcement to go to. You can then attach documents. You can share documents straight from Drive. You could attach a video from YouTube, or you can create a link into your announcement. And so whenever you click any of these, it'll just bring up your general things that you'll then navigate through in order to choose what you want to share with your class. Next is your classwork. Now in your classwork, you can create topics, okay? And you use topics to really organize what you're doing. So here, I might just create a few topics here. So this is U11, so it might be one of your topics. And when you create it, you'll then see it comes up with a little heading like that. Okay, and I might create another one, another topic, and now I'll have two topics. It's often good in your class to have an admin topic where you might post anything that's just related to your class and getting maybe some forms in or whatever it is that you need from your students. So that's that. And you can click here as well to create assignments for your students, to create a question for them that you want them to discuss and answer back to you in Classroom. If you just want to share material with them for them to be able to see, you use the material thing. If you've got a post that you've got in another classroom or in this classroom that you want to use in this classroom as well, or you want to repost and have it at the top again, you just click repost and you can then navigate that to find the post you want to share. I'm going to click assignment because that's the one that has the most complex nature to it. You can choose again whether you want all students to have it or just some students have it. Give it a title, give the students their instructions, and then you'll see here I'm going to add a Google Doc of some kind, say this one. And when I add this doc, you'll see here it says students can view file. If I select that, I can say students can edit that one file, or I can give each student their own copy. Okay, I often like to give students their own copy if there's something they're going to write on. If I want them to work collaboratively, then they're going to edit the same file. Or if you just want them to read it, they don't need access to it, they can just view it. Now again, choose your topic, or you can create a new topic. So let's say that's an admin topic. Give it a due date, so whenever you want this to be due, and then it will go into the calendar. Okay, so if I make this due on the 15th, and then if I want it to be graded or ungraded, so I can click ungraded, or I can click here again and change that to, let's say it's out of 50, I can put 50, or I can put 100, whatever you want to make it worth. Give it a title, embedding. Okay, and this is just so you can see it. Down here, when I go to assign it, I can also have this drop down where I can schedule it or just save a draft. So if you get halfway through and you need to go and find something, save it as a draft, and then you can come back to it. If it's all ready to go and you want it to be posted later, you can click schedule, and then you'll get to choose, your time and what day you want it to be scheduled on. I'm going to assign this now, and then you can see down here under admin, embedding is there. Now when there's multiples of these, I can right click here and you'll see move up and move down, so that you can actually put the one that you want the students to see at the top. The same for these. So if I want admin at the top, I can move it up and then move it up again, and it'll be at the top. And I can move these as well, and anything that I post in here. So that's your classwork. And if I want to see how my students are going, I can click here, I can view the assignments, see the back end of it, and I can see all of my students' documents will come up here. Now, these are my instructions for the post. If I want to see that, I'm going to go back to my class. So this is my stream, my classwork. Last one is your people. Now this obviously only has me in it at the moment. If you want to add more to it, you can invite using the code like I showed you before. Or if you just want to click here, you can send all of your students an email. If you start to type their name, I'm just going to type my name, okay, and it should automatically find you and bring it up. But I might not be in as Daniel. There you go. So I could add me. It's going to tell me that that's an error, and I'm not going to be able to invite me because I'm from a different domain, but that's fine. But you just invite students, you can just type their names, it'll bring up their email addresses, and you can share it with them. And then they will get that coming up in their home page, much like this one. If I go to my home here, it'll come up like this, and they have to either accept or decline whether or not they want to have access to that classroom. So that is your basics. You'll see here that there is a folder, and if I go back in here and I want to see that folder, I go to classwork, and here is that folder. If I click on that folder, it will come up into Google Drive for me, and in Google Drive, that classroom will have its own folder, and each post, each thing that I share with them will eventually load in there as their students. So if there were students in there, the document that I posted, there'd be copies of it here with that post for those students. But because there's no students, there's no documents there. And you'll see all of your students will have access to that drive. And they'll have various access depending on which documents are theirs. So they can always access theirs, and you can access it too. You, as the teacher, are the owner of that drive. And then there's also the calendar. This is now the calendar that's just for that one class. And so if I go to when there's actually an assignment due, here it is, assignment embedding, and it is due and it's in the calendar ready to go. If I put a due date, a due time, it'll actually come up at the time when it's due as well. So that students and you will see in your calendar when things are due, and you can set reminders and stuff for that as well. So here you can click edit, and so I can modify it. I can add notifications, so everyone will get notified a week beforehand that this assignment is due, and I can add a location if it's an assignment that's going to be done in a particular room or anything like that. If I have particular guests that need to come, I can add them here, book rooms there, all kinds of stuff. But that is your basic introduction into how to set up Google Classroom, and a little bit of a rundown on how the basics of it work at the beginning.